Are you trying to lose weight and you are overwhelmed by the idea of having to give up all your favorite foods and not be able to eat all the things that you love so much that maybe isn't loving you back? If that's you, you're not alone. And I'm going to share with you a really awesome tip about how to take those foods that you love and swap them out for things that are the healthier version of the things that are actually harming your body. So let's go ahead and jump in today. If we haven't met yet, I'm Catherine. I'm a health and life coach, and I help women take back their health and get healthy from the inside out, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Get their life back, whatever that looks like for them. And one of the number one things I hear, and I even dealt with for my own self when I was trying to get healthy and actually lose weight and keep it off, because I was a chronic dieter. If you don't know my story, it's all out here on YouTube, on my podcast. I share it everywhere. But I could not grasp this one idea. And one thing that I noticed from so many of the women that I work with is that we feel like we can't do something because it's overwhelming or too hard because we're looking at it from the wrong direction. We're looking at our health and weight loss backwards. And instead of starting from the external changes, we really need to start focusing on the internal changes first, like our mindset, how we think about what we're doing, getting our identity in Christ solidified, and figuring out who we really are in the first place and what actually matters to us, and all of the things in between, dealing with emotions so that we're not running to food to soothe as an emotional eater. We're running to the throne of God. So there's a lot of things that I work with women on, but one thing that I want to share with you is what I teach in the biblical body plan called healthy food swaps. Because when we look at health and wellness and dieting and weight loss and all those things from an all or nothing perspective, that's when it gets overwhelming. We shut down and we don't want to do it and we quit. And although there may be seasons of feeling like you're being a little bit more strict on yourself as far as what you're going to eat and what you're not going to eat, is a rule in life. Life happens, right? That's just part, I say it all the time, life happens, it's just part of life. It happens. So we have to learn how to navigate a healthy eating routine around life, but we can't start there. We have to start with thinking differently and becoming someone new internally and renewing our mind inside out. So Romans 12:2 reminds us that we are transformed by the renewing of our mind, not by the lack of eating sugar. Although that definitely can transform your external health and help your pancreas out and all the things and blood sugar, it doesn't actually change who you are. It doesn't really make you want to stop eating sugar forever, right? You just decide, I'm going to just stop eating sugar until I look hot in a bikini, and then I'm going right back to my cookies and brownies and all the things. Like, I know I've been there. I've done that too. And so many people that I work with have too. So you're not alone. Don't feel guilt. This isn't about feeling condemnation and feeling shame or any of that stuff. This is just about helping you to start to think different and to stop looking at weight loss like an all or nothing. I have to do this all or I can't do anything at all, with this one simple concept that I'm going to teach you that I call healthy food swaps. This was a lifesaver for me, a huge lifesaver for me, because there were so many foods out there that I was like, I can't give that up. There's no way. I'm never going to be able to do this because I refuse to let that thing go. But I realized that one, I was like living in the flesh 100%. And I still do battle with that a lot of times because we are walking, human, breathing people, right? So battle with the flesh is just kind of a thing. But I've gotten much better about not giving my flesh what it screams for the minute it screams for it. But it's because of implementing things like these healthy food swaps into your life. So I want to share with you just a little bit of some of the things that I teach in the biblical body plan in phase 6 of the course. And if you're interested in finding out more about what that is, just check the link in the description or in the show notes if you're listening on the podcast. And you're going to be able to get a free introduction to the course, see what that looks like. But you're actually getting a little bit more right now because I'm going to give you a deep dive into this one section, at least, that I teach in the course that is so life-changing for me and for so many other people. So if you're thinking, okay, what's a healthy food swap, Catherine? How do I even start implementing this? So let's go ahead and jump into that. I want to ask you a couple of questions. I just want you to think about these. If you have a pen and paper around, maybe you can jot them down. But I want you to ask yourself this: what are your favorite foods or drinks that you consume on a regular basis? That whether they're good or bad or indifferent, in your opinion, what are your favorite things? I just want you to think about those right now. And so for me, at one point in my life, Doritos would have came to mind very quickly, but that's not my case anymore. It definitely was at one point. So I just want you to think about what are your favorite foods? What do you love to eat? What do you love to drink? on a regular basis. And then I want you to ask yourself this: are there any unhealthy ingredients, or are those really high caloric, food items or drinks that you could replace with healthier options? And if you're not sure if there's anything out there that you could swap for what you're currently thinking about, don't worry, I'm going to give you a list of some things that I put together. So maybe we can touch on what you've written down. And if I don't touch on what you've written down, you can reach out and contact me and we can talk about that. And you and I can do a 20-minute consultation. We can walk through where it is you're struggling, and I can help you to brainstorm what you're currently doing and how you could swap what you're currently doing out for healthier options without feeling like I'm deprived, by following the good, better, and best rule. And then third, I want you to think about what are some healthy alternatives to those foods and drinks that you currently consume. And again, if you need help with that, reach out, because healthy food swaps don't have to be complicated or difficult. They just start small, and you find swaps that work for you and things that you like. Like if you're like, oh, I don't like stevia. Okay, well, that's not the one for you to switch to then. It may be from sugar to agave, or something like that, like honey, anything else. Okay, so every little change can make a really big difference in your overall health and wellness. And that's really important to keep in mind when you're trying to change your life. You don't want to try and do like full life overhauls, because they typically don't work and they lead to feeling frustrated, feeling like you're a failure, wanting to quit and not try again. We just want to keep doing that. We want to find something that works for us and that we can implement into our regular, daily, busy, crazy lives, because I know you ladies are out there doing all the things, and I know your life is super busy and you're crazy stressed out and overwhelmed. And I know you're juggling a lot of balls, and I know you just want to get healthier and you don't know how to do it. This is a great place to start. So, I'm going to be sharing with you an actual portion of the Biblical Body Plan course workbook. In phase 6, we go through the habits phase. Before we go through habits, so we work on all the internal shifting and all that stuff, mindset, healing our emotions, dealing with the pain of the past, trauma, all that kind of stuff, learning our reticular activating system and how we can actually utilize that to solidify our identity in Christ and to live a more peaceful and calm life, where we are taking up our authority in Christ and walking in that. Then we get to some of this more practical doing stuff. But I want to show you just a little insider sneak peek here of the Biblical Body Plan Signature Course Phase 6 workbook, because I want you to see this. I want you, if you're watching on YouTube, you can actually see it. If you're listening on the podcast, no problem. You can still come over to YouTube and watch it, or you can just pause and write these things down. But I want to show you here the healthy food swaps section that I give you to get some ideas for some things that you could swap out for the things that you're currently doing, and what is a healthy food swap for that. And you'll get this entire list in the workbook when you enroll in the Biblical Body Plan. So the healthy food swaps that I've given you here, now I want you to just be mindful, there are more. This is not an exhaustive list, but I give you a ton. And if I say something that you're like, ew, that's gross, I won't do any of those things for a healthy food swap, like I said before, it's really up to you. Like, I really want to encourage you to just think about what's going to work for you and your preferences. And something is better than nothing. Okay. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Something is definitely better than nothing. All right. So here's some suggestions. You could swap out sugary drinks like soda or sweet tea or fruit juice for water, sparkling water, even maybe water with some lemon. I love to juice lemons and just get a big jar of lemon juice from my cold press juicer, put it in the refrigerator. Every time I fill up my big honkin' cups here, like I have a 40-ounce cup today, but usually it's a 32-ounce cup. Every time I fill that up, I just dump in some lemon juice there, because I like lemon. So makes the water a little bit fancier for me. It tastes different than just regular water, although I do like regular water, but just something. I don't know. Some people like to add cucumbers or fruit or whatever else it is to infuse some flavor into their water. Hey, that's great. That's just an option for you. Or if you're a big tea drinker and you're in the South, like I am, you might drink a lot of sweet tea. The people around here drink sugar water, is what I call it. Sweet tea. It's so like syrupy and yucky to me. But you could swap out sweet tea for unsweetened tea, and then you could sweeten it still with something that you prefer. And I'll get into that in just a second. You could swap out regular mayonnaise and sour cream for plain Greek yogurt in dips or dressings for like a protein boost. So Greek yogurt has a lot of protein in it, and mayonnaise is made with a lot of really unhealthy oils. You can actually even make your own mayo at home. I do this. It takes me less than 5 minutes. It is the easiest thing. If you want that recipe, just type recipe in the comments or reach out to me on social media or contact me in the form. There's so many different ways you can get in touch with me, and just let me know you want that mayonnaise recipe because it is so good and good for you. So just swapping things out like that, where you're like, I don't have time to spend time in the kitchen all day long. Hey, listen, neither do I. I am very busy. I get it. I do not have time either. But instead of having your store-bought mayonnaise, or even the ones that are marketed as healthy, are really not. They still have a lot of unhealthy oils in them. So one of my favorite store-bought mayonnaise or dressings, like ranch dressing or Caesar dressing or barbecue sauce swaps, that I found is from Primal Kitchen. I really like Primal Kitchen. If you've never heard of it, it's just something you buy at Whole Foods. You can buy it at your like more high-end grocery stores or on Amazon. I know you can get some of it through the Walmart's through walmart.com, not like in the store, but you can get it on walmart.com or Sprouts or wherever you live. There's usually like a Whole Foods type store. I know that where I live, there's a Trader Joe's. They don't have it. So if you're going to go look in there, you're probably wasting your time. But Primal Kitchen is really good if you're like, I'm not going to make the 5 minute mayonnaise, Catherine. Hey, that's okay. But you could swap it for that brand, and you'll know that you're going to be getting really good ingredients. Okay. So let's move on. You could replace potato chips, like for me, Doritos, right? I told you that, crackers, or crunchy things. Like, I'm a salty girl, I'm not really a sweet girl, but you could replace those things with crunchy things like veggies, carrot sticks, cucumbers, bell peppers. I love those mini sweet peppers. They're so good. You can have those with like hummus, and that for some reason that just really satisfies me to the point where I'm good. I don't even crave or want chips anymore. But you could do that. Try using mashed avocados instead of like the junky butter. Now you can use real butter. Ghee butter is good for you. That's fine. But if you're using like margarine or country crock, that stuff's not even real food, y'all. Okay. But you could try using mashed avocados or cream cheese on Ezekiel bread instead of regular bread for a healthy fat source. So avocados are incredible for you, and you can use that on your toast and swap out your regular bread for Ezekiel bread. You could swap out your processed snacks that you maybe just grab and go somewhere. Like if you're, on the go and you stop at a gas station, instead of running in and getting a little bag of chips, you could just run in and get a bag of nuts or seeds, things like fresh fruit. Those are really great go-to snacks instead of just snacking on whatever, like the pack of cookies, or there's a bowl of M&Ms or whatever that are sitting around. I already talked about this next one, which was sugary processed dressings and sauces like ketchup and ranch dressing and mayonnaise and all of those things, barbecue sauce, whatever it is you use. There's so many unhealthy ingredients in those that really wreak havoc on your body, cause a lot of inflammation. And it's not even about the calories. When I'm looking at food, I don't look at calories. I look at content. I look at the ingredients. So I want you to begin to think like that when you're wanting to get healthier and just make these little small tiny changes. You don't have to be freaked out about calories, because you know what? Listen, this is a little side note. Calories are not the enemy. Calories equals fuel for your body. So you do need the calories. So don't freak out about calories. What I look at more is this quality calories, or am I just getting quantity of calories? I want to make sure that I'm having good quality fuel going into my body, which is like the engine of a car, versus trying to pour sugar into the gas tank and water, because you know what's going to happen. It's not going to run, it's going to break, and you're not going to go anywhere. And that car has to get scrapped. So hopefully that helps you to think a little bit differently about calories. But you can swap those sugary sauces and all that kind of stuff that has those really bad oils and unhealthy ingredients and foods that really just are way too genetically modified, for making your own at home or using that Primal Kitchen brand. Here's another one. Maybe try using cauliflower rice or zucchini or some other vegetables to make noodles instead of like your traditional white rice or your white pastas. And that will give you a lower carb option. So you don't have to give up eating spaghetti. Just eat spaghetti as a zucchini noodle, or there's lots of other little options that you can get at the store even that are called like miracle noodles, and they're made out of some vegetables and stuff, but they're already done for you if you don't have time to like spiral the zucchini up, for instance. Cauliflower rice is one of my favorite. Cauliflower is so so versatile. And if you're like, I don't like cauliflower, it's gross, you just haven't learned how to cook it right because it is so good in so many ways. Cauliflower bread and cauliflower pizza crust. I mean, I've made the bomb cauliflower grilled cheeses before. Oh my goodness, they're so amazing. So here's another one. You could swap out for sugar. You could swap stevia. If you're like, no way, I hate stevia. Okay, that's fine. There's other options. Okay, there's definitely other options, but I like stevia, like pure natural stevia. I like to also use xylitol. So I use a lot of Trim Healthy Mama's sweeteners. If you don't know anything about that, you can Google Trim Healthy Mama and find their super sweet and their gentle sweet. Those are some of my favorite sweeteners that I use, but whatever works for you, like honey. Honey is a natural sweetener that is loaded with antioxidants, and it even has antibacterial properties, which also lemons do too. So like lemon juice in your water is a really good option to clean out the bacteria and the yuck in your belly. And it's sweeter than sugar, so you can use less of it. Dates are also a natural sweetener, and they're packed with fiber and vitamins and minerals, and they have a caramel-like flavor, and they're a great option for sweetening your smoothies or your baked goods or your desserts. So I'm going to give you just a few more. And again, you can get this all when you enroll in the Biblical Body Plan. So when you're baking, another really good healthy food swap is to use applesauce instead of vegetable oil. If you didn't know that that works, it does. It's phenomenal. It's something that I learned a long time ago that helped to get rid of that unhealthy oil out of my life. And I don't use vegetable oil for anything. It's just not healthy for you. You can swap ice cream. Ice cream is really big. Like I love to eat ice cream. Most of you are probably in the same boat and you're like, yes, girl, I got to have me some ice cream on Friday night or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday night, whatever it is for you. Okay. But you can swap ice cream for healthier options, or you can even make your own. I learned how to make my own at home. I make banana ice cream, but if you go on Instagram or you go on TikTok or anywhere like that, you can find a million, seems like, healthy ice cream recipes that you can make at home. But again, if you're like me and you're busy and you ain't got time for all that all the time and you just want some ice cream, guess what? There's other options for you. So some of the healthier options that are out there based on the ingredients are Halo Top. That's a really great brand. It has lots of different flavors, and it's only about 360 calories per pint. So you could eat the entire pint, which I wouldn't recommend, but you could eat the entire pint and only be 360 calories in, versus like Ben and Jerry's would be like closer to 760 calories. And with the Halo Top, you're going to get 20 grams of protein if you ate that entire pint too. So you're getting some protein. Also, another great brand is Arctic Zero. This brand has a lot of dairy-free, lactose-free options, and those are even less calories. Like the higher one is 150 calories, but you can get Arctic Zero for down to like 35 calories a pint. Another brand is So Delicious. This brand has dairy-free vegan ice cream options that are made with coconut milk, almond milk, and cashew milk. So if you're like no to the dairy, this is a great option for you. If you're all about the popsicle bars, a really great brand is Yasso. They have Greek yogurt-based ice cream, and they come in like bars that you can get. They're about 120 calories a bar. So these are just a few of the healthier food swaps that you can do for ice cream. But what about the rest of your life? I'm going to give you this other little chart. You can swap out the foods that you love that don't love you back in easy ways right here. I give you a whole nother chart right here for you to look at. Like if you're a coffee person, I'm a coffee person, and you drink coffee with cream in it, you can swap out those International Delights, not even real milk at all in them, coffee creamers and dairy creamers for Nut Pods creamer. I love that creamer. It does take some getting used to at first when you're used to all the sugary syrup type creamers, but Nut Pods creamer is a really great swap. Or if you're somebody who can do it, like coconut milk is a really great swap for the regular coffee creamers that we use that are super full of sugar. We already talked about some of the drinks, so I won't go into this, but I want to touch on chocolate because chocolate is like the thing, right? We all love our chocolate. Well, most of us. I've only met one person that's like, I don't like chocolate. It's like, oh my goodness. Okay. But anyways, so for chocolate, you could swap out regular chocolate for Lily's brand chocolate. There's some others too, but this one is my favorite. So again, you can Google, there's so many more. This is not an exhaustive list. So for wraps and breads and things like that, I gave you Ezekiel bread already, but there's some others that you could do that are still on the spectrum of the good, better, and best scale that I teach in the Biblical Body Plan. And that would be Joseph's brand pitas or their lavish bread, Or for wraps, I really love the Olay Extreme Wellness wraps. They're a really great option for a healthy food swap if you don't want to just wrap all your food in lettuce. What about pizza? Let's talk about pizza for a second because a lot of us are busy, we're on the go. This one is really easy. You could grab a Joseph's pita. You could throw some of your own sauce on that pizza sauce that doesn't have a lot of unhealthy ingredients in it. Put your own toppings on it, whatever it is, put it all on there. Pop it into the oven. 7, 8 minutes later, you got an incredible, delicious pizza. I love making these. They're super fast. What about white flour? If you're a baker, you could swap out white flour for almond flour or coconut flour, or my favorite is the Trim Healthy Mama baking blend. It's their flour that they have on the Trim Healthy Mama website. Again, you can go Google that, but I love their baking blend. It is phenomenal because sometimes almond flour or just coconut flour can get a little dry. And I found that that baking blend just cuts all that mess out. And I don't have to worry about having like cardboard muffins or whatever when I use different flours. So those are just a few of the healthy food swaps that I teach you about in the biblical body plan. I hope these have been helpful to you. I hope you got a lot of really great value out of today and you took a lot of notes and you're going to go implement this so that you don't have to worry about trying to change your entire life and overhauling everything all at one time. You can just do small, tiny changes to swap out what you already love for just a healthier option that actually is going to love you back. And you would learn way more about doing all of this specifically in the biblical body plan. If you are interested in talking any more about where you're at, how to get a plan of action together for taking back your health and your healing and your identity and your wholeness and all the things that maybe you just know you're struggling and you want to talk with me about this, there's a link in the description. You can reach out, you can book a consultation with me, and I can give you tons of great resources that I have available that will help you right where you're at to get from where you are to where you want to go, and not in a crazy, painstaking, I'm giving up everything and totally overhauling my life type of way. So I'd love to hear from you. Which one of these healthy food swaps was your favorite? And if you have any suggestions for more that I didn't cover, I'd love to hear about those too. And if you want more help on your journey to getting healthy from the inside out, check out this video right here, and I'll see you in the next one.